Hello, Scorpio friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Scorpio February 2024 Astrology Horoscope forecast. This is for you if Scorpio is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Scorpio placement you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Scorpio friend, so birthday is around November 15th through the rest of the sign, or Scorpio degrees, 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Sagittarius report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. I'm calling the theme of this month a most unusual month, and we will go into all kinds of details as to why. If you're on the podcast version, I am putting the chart as the thumbnail, so at least you have it as a frame of reference there if you're only wanting to listen to the audio. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to write along on the chart as I see things that are relevant, and I've got my list to work off of, okay? So I can stay organized. So this month we've got 3 unusual topics to discuss. We've got eclipse season, we've got some fun things, and we've got the things to be awareful and careful and careful of. So the first thing is, let's talk about these Aquarius placements. So at the beginning of the month, we still have Venus, Mars, and Mercury in Capricorn, okay? So before we switch over into this unusual Aquarian sequence, I'll just give you some tidbits about the beginning of the month here. Venus, Mars, and Mercury in Capricorn still lingering. It's unusual that Capricorn lingers into February like this, but we've got a very strong showing in the beginning of the month, which is good news for everyone, because we still have more energy towards tedious tasks, discipline, focus, strategy, before those more diffuse, more mental, more, cerebral energies start to take over, where we start to get very much in our heads. The Capricorn energy is very much about action. So if you've got to take some, this is an amazing time all month, and we'll go into why, but especially at the beginning, because these Capricorn energies really can help you do something rather than think about or talk about things. Okay, so we've got a little bit of time there. It is unusual if that lingers. And in general for Scorpio, Capricorn placements are great because they make a 60-degree angle of opportunities. So it can give you lots of opportunity to advance your business, find employment, strategize, make amends with your father figure, come to terms with yourself becoming an authority or other authority figures. The energies that are accentuated here at the beginning are having to do with mobility and transportation and communication. So writing and driving and buying things that have to do with your communication or your transportation. So if you have to make a big purchase this month, it's full of opportunities to do that. And right here at the beginning, you may have more clarity, and some material items of importance may come in. So if you've got to plan a big purchase like that, you've got great energy all month, and especially there at the beginning with the Capricorn, action-taking transits. Now, as Venus and Mars and Mercury all move into Aquarius, they will be joining Pluto and the Sun and the new moon, which will happen on February 9th. So that's 6 placements in Aquarius, okay? So we're going to talk about the layers of this. Let's first talk about the house or field of experience for Scorpio specifically that all of this energy is bringing into focus. And that has to do with home, family, and housing, okay? Anything like a home-based job or business, or businesses based around people's homes, anything having to do with your family unit, a first house, a second house, a sale, a purchase of a house, housing, moving, renting, furnishings, those kind of things. Everything having to do with your house and home and family has 6 lines of energy. Okay, so just expect a very strong family focus at this time. This is also your inner world, your world of emotions. This is a water house, as you are a water sign. So you will notice that even though the energies of Aquarius are very objective, the house that they're filling for you is very emotional. Okay, so this may be a very emotional time. And since these Aquarius placements make squares with your placement, there may be some points of conflict or some points of stress that you have to get through, But it could be positive stress. Like, for instance, you found your dream home and you're moving, and now you just have to deal with the logistics of the move. Sometimes the difficult angles point to something that is like a birthing experience where you're birthing something new. And so there's difficulties in the transition process, but it's a positive thing because you're moving in the direction you want to. Now, speaking of which, we're going to dance back before we come back to these Aquarian layers and talk about the fact that all planets are moving direct, and this is a very big deal. So we've got a few layers of this to talk about. January 21st through March 20th, we've got all the personal planets, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, free from retrograde and their shadow period. So that makes this the first and one of the few open periods of 2024. Where it's much easier to launch things. Basically, the tides are going out. The astrological tides are moving outward. So anything that you set out to see is more likely to not come right back to you. So if you've got a big launch or something you want to be intact for a long time, January 21st through March 20th is your open window. If you want to know the open windows for all of 2024, go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for my secret star portal, because I've got the calendar for the whole year there. But if you're fine with just knowing this now, I can tell you this is one of the last, or not one of the last, one of the only big open periods this year, because we do have Mars retrograde towards the end of the year. And so you really want to take advantage of this forward moving energy. Now, again, with the unusual and this, this being a very unusual month, not only do we have a nice open period, we also have all of the outer planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, all going direct. This is very unusual, and this window goes from January 27th through May 2nd. So you can expect a big turning of outward energy and forward moving energy where you can catch up with things that have felt stagnant or things that have felt behind, where a lot of progress can be made in a very short amount of time. And this is very unusual. Okay, so within that January 27th to May 2nd window, only until March 20th are we free from the personal planet retrogrades and shadow periods. But there's still this very extended period of time of clarity and forward movement. Okay, so now let's go back to Aquarius layers and what this unusual lineup can bring. So we already talked about it's coming through the arena of the home and family and real estate and housing. But some other areas of life that are also accentuated have to do with groups and community-mindedness of you as a member of a group, you feeling like you're part of something, lending your voice to something greater. This can also be the power of teaming up with a team or like-minded people or your tribe, and the power that comes from all of you working on this project, and the fulfillment that comes from you feeling like other people are speaking your language. It can also come from technology. Okay, so this is a very unusual month. We've got aspects with Uranus, which rule Aquarius. We have all of these Aquarius energies. We've got, all the planets going direct. It is a very unusual month, which is why I'm calling it that. But one of the things that it can really help you with is to tap into non-traditional, unusual, weird, wacky, wild, wonderful, eccentric, just non-traditional things. So you might have a lightning strike of genius that you can then take action on because the forward moving energies are giving you clarity. Like if you have an idea for a patent or, something comes in, you not only have an excess of the potential for these ideas, but you also have an excess of the potential to do something with them. So sometimes we have ideas like this in a retrograde and we have to just kind of let it percolate, and just kind of work in the backdrop. But this is a time where like idea to manifestation, kind of like farm to table, can just come in a nice flow. So that Aquarian energy rules all of that. Technology, AI is very prominent, advancements in AI for yourself and just in general. Since Pluto's in Aquarius now, we're going to see a very rapid takeover of AI in all areas of life, not necessarily to the degree of that happens in movies where, we're under attack and things like that. But, we're just basically, it's becoming pervasive in our day-to-day experience. And you can see ways that you can utilize that to improve your workflow and make your personal life easier. So full of Aquarius opportunities at this time. And all of this can have to do with Venus, money, love, romance. This is an amazing time to network. Aquarius energy is networking. Venus rules love. If you're trying to date, someone may introduce you to somebody. If you're in a relationship and you want to be in that relationship, you can come up with wild and wonderful ideas of fun and interesting things that you can do with your partner. This could be a time of innovation on a personal level and on a business level. Mars bringing motivation, ambition, oomph, stamina. Mercury bringing ideas and information and education. Pluto bringing transformation. You know about Pluto. It's your ruler. Okay, now it's in Aquarius. Unfortunately for many Scorpios, some of you might have been seeing death, like actual death in the recent year. But some of it might have been figurative death. Okay, Pluto rules death literally and figuratively, but it also rules birth and rebirth and the phoenix rising from the ashes. So for those of you Scorpios who have been going through it, part of why is because Pluto is on this 4th house cusp and it's opposing your 10th house cusp, bringing dramatic changes in home and work and family and parents and housing and such. So that energy is there in a long-term way, but you also can use it. It's your own personal nuclear power generator to fuel all of your dreams. The sun is here as well. The sun bringing a spotlight to the things that need to be fixed in your life and also accentuating the things that are already great. So we have, just all of this going on, and it's very exciting. Also under the unusual, we've got 6 aspects that can go either way. I'm not going to go into detail about all of these, but if you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and you sign up for my free VIP community, just put your name and email address there. You can access the archives, and then you can look for February 2024 astrology. And in it, I have listed all of the ones to be wareful and a careful. I was saying a wareful and a careful of, and the my favorite aspects, and then also the ones that can go either way. And so when that happens, when we have a month where we have so many aspects that are not clearly positive or challenged, that means that your attitude, your lens brings to this month more power to really set the positive in motion, okay? Since it's more of a neutral set of aspects, then you can apply your perspective to make everything better. Okay, so big things to know. Oh, wait, one more thing on the topic of the open stars, January 21st and March 20th. This is the time to weave your webs all over the place. This is the time to take action and try to make things happen if you feel intuitively inclined. Follow synchronicity, to your goals. But, this is not a time to be docile or, or necessarily a passenger. Okay, this is definitely a time to take an active role in your destiny as you see intuitively fit. Okay, so now we've got eclipse season. You all have been getting rocked by the eclipses from the end of 2021 to the end of 2023. We had the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle. I'm sure many of you are still recovering from that. Fortunately, you're not being targeted anymore, which is nice, but we are still going to have eclipse cycles. February through May of 2024, we've got a continuation of the Libra Aries eclipse cycle. I call that the me versus we eclipse cycle. So a lot of changes continuing, with you and your relationship with other people, your autonomy, your interdependence, new relationships, new chapters, old relationships, endings, things like that will continue. This cycle started in early 2023, goes through early 2025. Just to give you a little bit of history, we will go into more of the details of this eclipse cycle in March and April when they happen, but because eclipse season starts 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipses, and the first eclipse is on March 25th, February is eclipse season. So we have to talk about it now because this pot, the eclipse pot, is on the burner, and now in February the fire starts to go on, okay? So things that were in motion as of the beginning of last year, 2023, started to come back up again towards the end. Now, not all of those things, right? Because some of the things that came up at the end of 2023 had to do with the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle, and that ended. So just the things that had to do with the Aries Libra eclipse cycle will now be continuing. And February, the heat starts to go under the pot, and you start to get some little bubbles. March and April, it's bubbling over and steaming all over the place. And then May, you turn the heat off and it starts winding down. Okay, so that'll be the cycle of information and experiences and news and events. The drama, the uncertainty, the feeling of your finger in an electric socket, all that change is coming and you might not know exactly what it is, but you'll start to get insights as to what that might look like here in February. Lunar eclipse, 5 degrees of Libra, March 25th. Solar eclipse, 19 degrees of Aries, April 8th. If you want to look back to when you experienced these eclipses before, 2013 to 2015, 2004 to 2006, and 1995 to 1997. All right. Now, I told you it's me versus we for everybody, but specifically for Scorpio, this accentuates the 6th and 12th houses. Houses in astrology are fields of experience we have as humans. And as the planets or events move through those houses, they give us hints as to what areas are going to be transformed. And this has to do with your health, your mental wellness, and your physical wellness, your daily practices that lead to your mental and physical health, the ethereal versus the mundane, pets and animals, and work versus your quiet, personal, private pursuits. All of those things are going to be brought up in a big way. And again, we'll talk about more of this, in the months to come, but I just want to give you a little insight into the changes that are likely going to start sparkling now. All right, so now my next section is called the fun. All right, so I've got two things to talk about here. We've got double the sweet aspects compared to the salty ones this month. And that's exciting. And then on February 24th, we have a full moon in Virgo. Okay, so that house, that sixth house that is being accentuated by the eclipse cycle is also an energetic that the Virgo eclipse is going to accentuate, which is health, healing, your daily routine, pets, animals. So fullness, completion, fruition, drama in those arenas. But because Virgo is in a nice angle for Scorpio, I'm hoping that these will be sweet and fun aspects for you in manifestation. Now, the house that this is happening in is your Aquarius house, which we've already talked about the Aquarius energy. So now you've got another line of that. Friendships, groups, those things that we talked about could also be related to this full moon. All of the Scorpios can feel the goodies from this, but those of you who are in the October birth zone may see more notable things, and the closer you are to 5 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to give you some more dates to be careful and awareful of now. Like I said, if you want more information on this, go to anniehelpsyou.com to sign up for my free email newsletter, and you can get astrology education and more of these dates there. But I just want to give you a few. February 5th, we've got a zing between the sun and Chiron. Okay, so, sorry, I just got my notes scrambled. It's actually Venus and Chiron on February 5th. So love, beauty, money, self-esteem, relationships in a square to the wounded healer. So you might feel a little zing in the days around February 5th. The days around February 8th and 16th, we have squares with first the sun and then Mercury with Uranus. So Uranus is really ruling this month. It rules Aquarius. We've got squares with Uranus. We have other aspects with Uranus. This is, sort of a time where that energy is very strong. Surprises, jostling, unwelcome news, upsets, things like that. But at least these dates, the 8th and the 16th, should be very fast. So if something comes, then, your feathers will be unruffled pretty soon. But just kind of take extra care. Watch out, especially for electric all month, but, especially in these times, the squares and the days are on the 8th and 16th. Don't clean the toaster oven when it's plugged in, stuff like that. Actually, one more I'm going to add to the fun section is in the days around February 7th, we've got a trine with Venus and Capricorn with the planet Uranus. So those same surprise energies, except this time in a nice configuration, that can hopefully bring some sweet news involving love, money, or boosts to your confidence. If you love how I teach and you want to learn, go to anniehelpsyou.com to see my education opportunities, including more free stuff from me. You can sign up for my newsletter there, as I discussed earlier. You can see my Secret Star portal, which has my 2024 retrograde and direct calendar, so you can have for your planning purposes, and so much more in there. My written horoscopes are in there, and lots of things are in there. And you can see my 6 steps to reading charts in my Astrology Basics course, or you can see my very comprehensive astrology certification program called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. So you can see all of that there. I can bring you from 0 to reading charts professionally in a very short amount of time. Sometimes I have people getting paid to read charts within a few months. Of course, I don't make any guarantees, but I definitely see it happen regularly as people go through and apply the coursework. And that's even sometimes people who are newbies. If you already know astrology, I can help you to tie together the things you know and to gain your confidence in what to focus on and how to ask for, the business basically, so that you can earn money from what you love. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.